Welcome to this tutorial on how to create an opt-out dossier. In this video, I'm going to describe how to use Euclid Web UI to create a rich dossier that includes data that's been opted out of a joint submission. You can opt out from jointly submitting information and submit some data separately for several reasons, whether related to costs, disclosure of commercially sensitive information, or disagreement with the lead. A partial opt-out is where you're joining a joint submission using a token provided by the lead registrant. You're relying on some of the jointly submitted data in the lead registrant's dossier, but you're using some data that is not jointly submitted. This separate data you provide in your own dossier. A full opt-out is where you're using a token provided by the agency and therefore have to provide all the necessary data at your tonnage band in your own dossier. You cannot rely on any of the data in the lead registrant's dossier. Once you have completed all the information you want to include in your dossier, go to section 14, Information Requirements, and then go to Opt-out Information for Rich Registrants. Click on the plus button on the right of the section name to add a new document. Next, click on New Item, select, and you are directed to a list of items that you can opt out. In case of a partial opt-out, you will have to choose the individual sections that you want to opt out. If your tonnage band is higher than the lead registrant's, be sure to include any data required at your tonnage band that the lead registrant does not provide. As an example, if you want to opt out the section 413, Data on Flammability, you do this by scrolling to the record and selecting it. You are then taken to a sliding window where you can confirm the selection. The chosen section now appears in the Documents field. You should then provide a justification for the opt-out by clicking on the Justification field and provide the explanations required. In case of a full opt-out, you will have to choose all the information provided in a dossier by manually selecting each record, using the same approach as for the partial opt-out. Make sure to include section 2.1 GHS data and all endpoint study records in sections 4 to 7. Remember that you should provide a justification for both full and partial opt-out. Some of the documents under the mandatory sections are not automatically included in the Euclid dossier when you use the Joint Submission Member template, which means that some of the documents must be selected manually to be included in the dossier. For instance, if you are fully or partially opting out a dossier above 10 tons and the lead registrant is registered below 10 tons, you will need to manually add endpoint summaries for Section 6, Toxicological Information, and Section 7, Toxicological Information during the dossier creation steps, since these summaries cannot be linked under the opt-out document. To add endpoint summaries for Section 6 and 7, click Create Dossier. Fill in your dossier header information. If you're registering a full opt-out and you have a token provided by the agency, you need to also select the checkbox Data Sharing Issues and provide an explanation in the Justification field according to the instructions provided by the agency. Go to Advanced Settings and then select Documents to be included. Next, some documents are already pre-selected based on your dossier template. These are the default sections for a non-opt-out joint submission member dossier and opt-out sections indicated in section 14. To add endpoint 6 and 7, select them and create dossier.